episode 2 in the Double Trouble podcast. I'm your host, Kayleigh.
And I'm Mr. Jason.
Yeah. Okay. And now this time we will... Sorry about that, guys. Upstairs, there's someone knocking because it is nighttime, and of course we're doing housework at nighttime above us. But yeah, thank you all for listening to our last podcast. Made me feel good about myself, knowing that you guys were listening. I was thinking this episode, we talk about our past, just our past. What we did when we were children, how was our childhood like, where were we from, all that kind of stuff that you guys might not know about us. Just a quick introduction, which might be 15 minutes. So I will start. I, as many of you may know, am from Maine, the south part of Maine. I lived in the mountains, in a forest, next to an apple orchard. Yeah, my dad always said that we lived 2 miles away from a neighbor, which is kind of a stretch. I would say more like a mile. Yeah, but that's where I'm from.
And you're Filipino.
Oh, yeah, I'm half Filipino. Don't forget about that. Half Filipino. My mom's from the Philippines. My dad is from Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
What about your parents?
Parents?
Yeah.
My mom was from... I'm trying to remember. I think she was born in Buffalo, actually. I think she was.
Oh, you don't remember?
I'm pretty sure she was born in Buffalo. My dad, I know, was born in South Carolina. So was I. I was actually born in South Carolina. Yeah.
How is it like in South Carolina?
Not as hot as here. No, it's probably similar, I guess, in hot, but...
More humid over here?
More humid here, less humid there, dry heat there.
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina's nice. You went with me.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, South Carolina's good. It's very laid back. South Carolina is like, slow. That's a good way to think of it. Southerners are slow. They don't like to rush.
What kind of slow are we talking about?
Like, they don't like to rush to get things done. Things will get done, but they'll get done eventually.
Mm-hmm.
They don't rush to get them done right away.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole vibe. The whole place has that vibe. When you drive, it's got that vibe. You know, you'll have asshole drivers, but for the most part, it's got a very kind of like laid-back atmosphere for the city. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, the rest of Maine is pretty vast. I was from a small town called Acton. I think there's only I don't know, I haven't checked, 5,500, I don't remember. It was a really small amount of people living in that town.
Well, you said your grandparents literally lived on a blueberry patch, right?
No, they lived next to a lake. They just had a blueberry patch next to their house.
Like actual
summer home.
blueberries?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. And you lived with animals?
Yeah, my whole life I've lived with animals.
But like wild animals?
Well,
or like farm animals?
Farm animals and, yeah, wild animals. When I was little back then, we had lots of farm animals. But, of course, since we lived in the middle of a forest, there was, animals all around. Mm-hmm. There's a story my mom told me that one day she was, cooking, washing the dishes. I don't remember the layout of the kitchen back then, but there was a moose in the window, and she got so scared because the moose was fucking huge because the window was pretty high up, and the moose was, looking in the window.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was, as high. I don't remember how high the window was. I think it was as tall as, close to the wall, the ceiling of my room. Mm-hmm. That's the height comparison. The moose was huge. But yeah, we had animals around, sure. I had earliest memory of animals in specific. I had cats, chickens, cow. We didn't have any pigs or sheep. It was mainly chickens. We had lots and lots of chickens. Meat chickens, chickens that laid colorful eggs, and all that stuff. Oh, and I loved looking for salamanders under, logs and stuff.
Salamanders?
Yeah, salamanders, little squiggly, slimy
Those
dudes.
are the wet ones.
Yeah, I like those ones. There's not a lot of those in Buffalo,
There
unfortunately.
were some. I found some in the hood.
In the hood.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Salamanders live in the hood.
Some of them.
Was there any animals in South Carolina?
I didn't live there that long.
Oh,
I left South Carolina when I was like 3.
oh, well, it was okay. Well, we both know animals in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Was there any hood animals that you used to play with?
Hood animals?
Yeah, hood animals.
Uh, um, I remember when I moved on to Grove Street, there were some dogs that I would try to play with. I always had the thing where I would want to make friends with all the animals, and it was like 50-50 whether they wanted to make friends with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember this one dog was, I don't really know what kind of dog it was. It had like stringy, fluffy fur. It was like black and orange. And it was a medium-sized dog. I was a little kid, so like it was big compared to me, but it probably wasn't big compared to how I am now. But then I was like, what, 5 or 6 years old, so it was like a big dog to me. And that dog, I always thought wanted to tear my face off.
Oh,
Because I would come home or I would go play, and that dog had a chain. It was outside like most of the time. And every time it saw me or anyone, it would come running to the point that like it pulled the chain every time.
what part of Buffalo was this?
This was like Riverside, like that area.
Okay.
Yeah, like near far past Kenmore, like
Oh,
towards like the project. This was the projects, but this was like near Riverside, and like a charter school was nearby. Yeah, this was the projects kind of area. But that dog would run all the way to the end of his chain till it was like taut, till it was very tight. And I remember, for some reason, I was determined to make this dog like me.
Oh.
And so every time I would get there, at first it'd scare the shit out of me, and I'd jump back and I'd get nervous and everything. But then I would try to like get my nerve, and I would literally play this stupid game, and it could have gone terrible. But I would play this game of how close could I get to the dog with him jumping at me. And at one point, I remember like because I had done it so many times, eyed it up just right, and so I stood at a spot as he's running at me, and he stopped like an inch short because of the chain.
Oh.
And I could, he's reaching out trying to smell me, and I can't tell if it's aggressive. I don't know. I'm a kid. I don't really know. And then one day, I just said, I'm gonna get the nerve and I'm gonna go up to this damn dog, and so I do.
Oh shit.
And the dog knocks me down and humps me.
Oh.
The dog did like me, but not what I was expecting. That dog like made me his bitch at that moment. He was
That
like,
dog's on a leash for a reason.
yeah. I can't remember if it was a girl dog or boy dog. I don't know, because it was so fluffy. It was hard to tell, but it was funny. After all, like, I don't know how many months that dog had been like vicious in my head, and then he liked me. And after that, I could go up to him and sit with him, and I'd pet him, and he'd get all over me, and it was cool. Yeah, but the first time that we had that kind of like moment, he humped me. Yeah, yep. And I don't even think I had ever, because I was like a little kid, I don't think I ever had a dog hump me before. So that was also weird, because then I remember going home and thinking to myself, am I gay? Like,
What?
well, yeah,
It's
like
a dog.
I know, but I never had that. So I remember feeling all embarrassed, telling my mom, like, Mom, I'm not a fag, but a dog humped me, and I didn't want it, but it knocked me down and did it. It was weird. It was a weird conversation, and she laughed. Yeah, yeah. There were dogs. No squirrels where I grew up.
What?
At least.
Really?
Yeah,
Were there no trees around?
There was like squirrels, but there wasn't like in West Seneca and stuff. Wasn't anything like that. The hood doesn't. The streets and that stuff. They don't really have those things. Although my neighborhood that I eventually moved to on Jones Street had like the buff squirrels. Yeah, there was none of that in Buffalo. I think that's it for animals. Yeah, school animals. There'd be like teachers' pet, like literal pets that teachers would bring in. That was cool. That was about it. I don't think any of the kids really could afford animals. If you had a house, you probably had an animal, unless you were like taking care of some cat or something. Yeah. Although, well, no, that was after Grove Street. I did move to another place called Delson Court, and that was where the salamanders were actually.
Oh.
Because this one lady had a garden, and so you'd find them in her garden. But she also had a cool dog. I liked. I would play with him all the time, and yeah, he was nice. Yeah.
Speaking about animals in school,
Hmm.
I remember 2 years before I graduated, there was two golden retrievers. They're like therapy dogs the principal brought in or something. And they would always like walk around the school and stuff, and they were in the yearbook.
They were in a yearbook.
Yeah, they were in the yearbook. I
There you
remember.
go.
I don't remember their names, but I thought they were really cool because they would come into the class and I would give them pats and go between my legs. Yeah, and then they wear Halloween costumes on Halloween. Oh, yeah. Speaking of Halloween, the
Well,
audience wants to know who we're going to be.
They don't, but you're gonna tell them anyway.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So, Mr. Jason is going to do a body transformation, and he's going to be a character from the hit video game League of Legends.
You're funny.
And he is going to be Silas. Ooh. And I'm going to be a specific character. We all love him. The whole entire League of Legends community loves him.
Nothing toxic about him at all.
I'm going to be Teemo. I'm going to be the little devil Teemo skin for Halloween.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm going to wear the hooves and have the little pokey stick and have the little poison laughy faces on my hands and stuff, and I'll throw it at people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lots of the Vietnamese people here play League of Legends, so during Halloween I expect lots of people to want to take pictures of us.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah. So anyways, back to childhood and stuff. I'll talk about me now. I moved to Buffalo in 2011. Cut it out. He's fighting with me. No, I moved to Buffalo in 2011. I moved to Buffalo because my dad got a job offer that he couldn't refuse. We were only supposed to stay in Buffalo for like 2 years, then we were going to move to the Philippines. But, yeah.
How many years ago was that?
2011?
2011. Okay, so that was...
Well, it's 2024, 23, 22, 21, 20,
13
19,
years
18,
ago?
17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11.
14 years ago. Wow. So he had that idea 14 years ago, and he's still talking about it now.
What?
Moving to, like, the Philippines or Vietnam.
Or Asia, yeah.
That's
Well,
crazy.
that was when my parents were still together. But then when they broke up, the whole plan shattered, and we stayed in Buffalo way too long than we were supposed to.
See, to me, and I know this might be, like, changing the subject a bit.
No, what is it?
Well, it's crazy to me that your dad had an idea that he probably had before that, but maybe this is the earliest that you knew of the idea. And that idea was 14 years ago, and he still hasn't done it yet. He still hasn't done it yet, and that idea was 14 years ago.
Mm.
You know? It's like that stuff's, I don't know. When you put your mind to something, you just gotta, either you do it, or you move on and you do other stuff, but to have an idea that you're holding on to that long.
I think he did do other stuff, but it was still in his mind. Obviously, it's in everybody's mind. I want to leave Buffalo. Everyone I talk to says, yeah, I want to leave here.
I don't know. I never really felt that way. I didn't feel like I just wanted to leave. I could see change, and I was open to change. I didn't care about leaving. I cared about, like, what was I going to go to?
Mm.
Not what was I leaving, but what was I going to go do? You know? If I was going to leave, I needed a good reason. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, where was I? I was talking about moving in 2011. That's right. Yeah, he got a job offer he couldn't refuse at a frozen storage place.
Who he still works at.
Yeah, but it's different companies now. He explained that he doesn't do what he does before. Which is good. He's too old to do the stuff that he did before. But yeah, I remember the first time I went to school in Buffalo in Cayuga Heights Elementary School. It's like Depew, but it's like connected, and I don't know why they just don't call it Depew High School. They call it Cayuga. I don't even know what a Cayuga is. But yeah, I remember because I had the same mindset because you're a little kid that you bring toys to school because you're a small child and you bring them every day because they're like your little pals. So I remember waiting for the bus, sitting in the driveway in the front. My mom had a stool out for me to sit on. It was a brown stool. She was waiting out there with me, and I had my little bear. I think it was. It was a bear, a little toy bear. Yeah, and the bus came, picked me up. Then I don't know when my teacher said this. It was my 5th grade teacher. He said that, Kayla, it's not Fun Friday. You can't bring toys. Like, what the fuck is a Fun Friday? Have you ever had a Fun Friday? It's ridiculous. I could bring toys whenever I want in Maine. Made no sense.
I don't know. I don't really remember what I did with my toys. I think, like, I was always worried about losing them. I didn't really bring toys too much. I would bring tech decks. You had to bring tech decks. Those were good. I lie. I did bring toys. I brought tech decks, and I remember those yo-yo balls. I loved the yo-yo balls. You could fuck someone up with a yo-yo ball. Those things were fun. Those were cool. Tech decks, yo-yo balls. There were these little tiny ninja, like figurines that you would get from gumball machines. You remember those? You'd get toys from
Yeah.
gumball. Yeah, so it was like that. I'd bring those, and I never really brought Legos. I always wanted to play with Legos at home.
I don't think it'd be a good idea to bring Legos to school.
You could lose them. But when you were talking about the bus stop, that was making me think of my bus stop stuff.
Oh yeah, how was your first ride on? I actually remember in Maine my first time ever going on a school bus.
Oh Lord.
Do you remember your first time?
Sort of. It was different.
Should I talk about mine first?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk about mine first. So, when I was very little, and I knew I was going to go into school soon and get picked up by a bus, I didn't know how the bus was going to work. I thought I would just wait outside the door, because this is how our house looked like. So, let's pretend the road is, like, here. For people at home, I'm drawing a line on my bed. So, the road is here, the house is down here, and this is the driveway. I thought the bus would go into my long driveway, then back up, then go onto the street. I thought that's how it worked.
You're
Then
funny.
I was saying, wait, why are we going to the end of the driveway? The bus is supposed to go in the driveway. But it didn't.
No.
And I was sitting on the same brown stool. And I remember Mom always calls it Wawa. I had Wawa on my face, so she spit on her hand and rubbed the Wawa off my face.
The fuck is Wawa?
It's like eye crumbs or mouth crumbs from
Yuck.
drool or something. Yeah, and she like just polish that off. But I remember, and I remember the bus driver. It was bus A. It was probably at like 7 in the morning. The bus picked me up, and it was like a 30-minute drive to the school because we were far away from everything. Yeah, I remember. How was your first time on the bus?
I don't want to talk about my first time.
Oh.
But I will talk about my mom and her opinions of the bus affecting me. Because we used to do metro buses all the time. So, like, we had a pretty good, I guess, a good rapport with, like, bus drivers. Like, because I would talk to bus drivers.
Oh, yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah, I would talk to them, and she would chat with them, and, you know, we would ride the bus, so we had good respect. But when I started going on the school bus, my mom kind of had attitude with the school bus people.
Why?
Because they would leave me at times, or because they would, what else would they do? They would leave me, or they wouldn't come when it was really cold, and I'd be waiting longer. Like, the bus would be running off schedule, but then I'd still have to stand out there and wait. And,
Oh, yeah.
and she would get mad because I was a little kid, and because, you know, I was not, like, let's just say I wasn't bundled up, you know, I wasn't, like, necessarily protected. I'd have, like, a jacket on, probably no gloves, maybe a hat, like, you know, no scarf, like, none of that stuff. But my mom would worry about me, and I remember the one time after I stood out there for. I remember she screamed at me because I had missed the bus a couple times. She was really mad, so I stood out there this one time for a half hour or more, and I didn't go back in the house because I was like, I'm not missing this fucking bus.
Oh
Like, she'll
shit.
kill me if I miss this bus. And so finally, I'm like, well, either I'm really bad at time or the bus just isn't coming. Because I was a little kid. I don't know how long's passed, but it felt like forever's passed. Well, sure enough, I'd been out there for almost an hour.
Oh.
And my mom was freaking out that I didn't come in sooner. And then I was exasperated because I'm like, what? You don't want me to miss the bus, but you want me to come in, but you don't want me to. What do you want? Like, what do you want me to do? And then she just called up the bus company, was screaming at them because her son was out there and he was cold and everything. And I'm thinking, at least I'm not getting in trouble. At least they're getting in trouble because I thought I was going to get in trouble. So then after that, we had this very like, I want to say almost like a strict policy with the bus. My mom would tell me, go outside, wait 5 to 10 minutes. If they don't come back in and warm up. I don't care if they're there a minute later. You come back in. Mm-hmm. I said, okay, Mom. And I don't know how many times we either had the bus waiting on us or me running right as the bus came back up because I would come in from warming up or something. Because, Buffalo's cold most of the year. So, yeah, we had a weird relationship. It wasn't the same with the Metro people. The Metro people were cool and, but the school buses, they were just a little, I don't know. They rubbed her the wrong way. So then I kind of took the same pride as she did, and I was kind of a jerk to them too. I don't know. Yeah.
Did your school with the buses had to wait for you to get inside the house? I hated that. In Maine they didn't do that, but in Buffalo they did. When you got off the bus, they had to watch you get inside the door, or they had to see that a parent was out there, and then they would leave. And if there wasn't anybody there, you'd have to get on the bus and go back to the school.
I do remember that.
Hated that.
That didn't happen too many times because, again, I actually think that was also one of the problems my mom screamed at them for.
Really?
No, seriously, because my mom worked. So there were times that, like...
She wouldn't be there.
She wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And there were also times that I was locked out because, maybe there was a miscommunication or she forgot to leave the door unlocked. Like, there was things like that. And so I remember once, really only one time that happened, what you said, where they'll keep you. Because I think what happened was my mom just forgot to leave the door unlocked.
Uh-huh.
I got off the bus, but the bus driver could see me. So the bus driver sees me steady trying to get in this fucking house, and I can't get in the house, and I don't know what to do, and the bus driver's staring at me. And before I know it, they nap me up and take me back on the bus. And I'm like, listen, she's got to be home. I'm fine. I promise. I'm trying to convince them, but they're not listening to me. And so but then they got shit afterwards.
Yeah,
they got
good.
some shit. She was so mad. She's like, I have to work. He'll be fine. So then she would try to have like my grandma there or something sometimes, just so that way like they wouldn't. Because I can't do much as a kid. Like, if you want to make me get back on your bus, unless I go run away, I got to get back on your bus. So, but that was another thing that really pissed her off. She didn't like that shit.
Yeah. They were about to do that to me because Mom wasn't there. My dad was actually in Vietnam.
Wow.
He went on a trip by himself, and Mom was looking after me at my dad's house. And she was off somewhere. I think she was working. And the bus dropped me off, and the door was locked, and I was like, ah, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mom wasn't there. No, she wasn't at work. She was with her Filipino friends, and they weren't there, so I was like, fuck. And then the dude starts beeping, honking his bus horn, saying to come back, we're gonna go to the school. I'm like, wait, no, she'll be here, I swear. And then 5 minutes later, he's getting really angry, and then Mom shows up. Like, take that. But you know what I should have done? I just go to the back of the house.
Yeah.
That's what I should have done, because there's a back door. I could just pretend that I went in the back door. He can't even see there anyways.
Yeah.
I should have just done that.
Yeah, I don't know. That school bus stuff was weird.
Yeah. No, I hated that. I wonder if I didn't move, if that would be like that in Maine.
Oh, Maine's a different state.
Yeah, well, probably not, honestly.
Yeah, it's more conservative. You do what you gotta do. I still think it's funny when I hear these stories in China, Japan, of these kids just hopping on the subways, going like to other cities and stuff. Like, that's crazy to me. That's cool, but that's like crazy.
Yeah, they do that here too. They don't get on like a subway. They just get on their little bicycles.
Go wherever.
And go to school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this little boy that was at this primary school that isn't teaching right now because it's summer, so school's not going on right now. But there's this little boy who has his like head is always like shaved a weird way because he's like training to be a monk because he always wears different clothes than the rest of the kids. He's wearing like monk clothes. And I'm like, okay, wow, we got a little monk in our class. And when I'm there for like the whole entire like afternoon, I see him getting on his little bike. He parks next to, or I park, or he parks next to my motorbike, and I can see him riding away with his little bicycle going somewhere, probably down there to that building where the monks live. He's probably over there where we're gonna go get our herbal medicine.
Heating and cooling.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you want to tell about the discovery that you found out about that I told you?
I'm not happy about it. I don't even know. Just diet stuff. It's like, you tell them. I still don't even understand it.
So, where I'm into herbal medicine, Chinese medicine, and since Jason is white and he's in a tropical climate,
if you didn't hear that, since I'm white,
since he's white, since he's white and he's in a tropical climate, he gets hot really easily. Like when we were out today, I didn't check the temperature, but I was feeling pretty comfortable, and he was sweating his ass off.
Yep.
And
not moving.
I told him about this before, but then I did research for him, and I had him see that he should cool his body down with because his body is imbalanced. It's like the yin or yang is imbalanced because he's been having too many foods to make his body hot, and he should have more foods to make his body cool. Yeah, and so we found that out. We're also gonna go soon to the monks, that same building I was just talking about, because they have their own little herbal hospital, and we're gonna go get some herbs to help him with his temperature situation.
Yeah, we'll try it.
Yeah,
it'd be different.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for that.
I've been wanting to go to that monk temple. That's cool. They have a restaurant right next door, but I don't know. I want to go check out like the medical part.
Yeah, I seen people there yesterday. It looked really busy, so it's popular.
Probably like a tourist attraction for locals. Something to come do.
Yeah, get checked out by a little monkey dude.
No, I meant the restaurant.
Oh, the restaurant. I never seen this restaurant.
It's literally, it's the same building, but it's just separated a little bit.
Oh.
So if you saw it getting busy, it might have been the restaurant.
It might have been the restaurant. Was it like facing? It was like facing the same way the M place was. Yeah. No, that was the restaurant. Then. Okay. Anyways, skirt. Childhood. Let's talk more about our childhood.
Okay.
So we're still talking about elementary school. I don't really remember too much about Buffalo Elementary. I remember my teacher, and I remember. Oh, I gotta go run. There was this kid talking about the bus again on the bus, and I was with my friend at the time, another little Filipino girl, and this boy was behind us in the seat, and he kept annoying me so much. He kept like popping up and down, screaming, yelling, whatever, and I said, "Can you please stop?" And he kept doing it, and he kept doing it. I'm like, okay. And I just did this to him on the head. Next time he popped up, I did this. As he came up, I bonked his head with my fist.
Good.
Then he started crying, like, oh yeah, boo-hoo.
Good.
And then, like, an hour later into first period or whatever, the principal comes.
What?
Because he told the principal.
Oh.
And then the principal asked me, "Hey, Kayla, you want to take a walk with me down the hall?" I'm like, "Oh, okay." I didn't know why. And then we walked to the principal's office. He said, "You shouldn't do that and stuff." And I asked him, "Are you going to call home?" And he said, "Yep, I'm going to have to call home." And he did, but at the time in that house, we didn't have a recorder thing. I don't know if you remember those. Like, it's like a recorder. You have to press the button to...
the message recorders.
Yeah, message recorder. We didn't have that. And we didn't have, like, phones. Mm-hmm. Mom had a flip phone, and my dad also had a flip phone. We didn't have a recorder, so they never got the message that I hit a kid.
That's funny.
Yeah, I know.
Technology.
Like, oh, phew!
Wow. That's so weird.
I'll tell you, the kid never bothered me again. That's for sure.
Yeah. All it takes was one time.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad is okay with, back then, my dad was okay with me hitting people for, like, self-defense and stuff. That's why he took me to Taekwondo.
Hmm.
Yeah, if I ever got in a situation or if I was getting bullied, he was like, okay, you can hit them. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, great. I can do that. Yeah. Okay. Let's fast forward. Let's go now to middle school. Middle school was when middle school was when I got into anime and I turned into a weeb. And everything about my life turned into Japan. Everything was about Japan. Food, shows, hair, clothes. Everything was about Japan. The way I spoke, I was speaking Japanese. It wasn't great Japanese, you know. It's just like I changed my name to Kaylee Chan. Yeah, yeah, and I was starting that, but that's when I started to get really good at drawing. Well, for like a middle schooler, I was getting good. Yeah, that's also when I had some toxic friends. I mean, it wasn't. They weren't too toxic. I mean, she would call me the N word with the hard R many times, just casually.
What? In middle school?
Yeah, in middle school, all the time. Like,
Was she black?
no,
What was she?
white.
That's weird.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah,
How'd
just
you
like, hey, what's up, beep.
how'd you become friends with her?
Oh God, I don't really remember, but no one in the school liked her. But since I was friends with her, that means no one in the school liked me.
Poor choice.
Yeah, poor choice. I don't remember how I met her. I think of just like I don't know how kids become friends and stuff, and then we started to hang out, have sleepovers, all the usual girl stuff. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't until recently that you started taking your friends group seriously.
Oh yeah, it was recent. Yeah, she moved once high school started, so then that ended.
Mm.
But once again, I made some poor friend decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So I was still seen as weird and don't talk to Kaylee. But wow, Kaylee's good at art, but don't talk to her. She's weird. She hangs out with those people. Oh, she's weird. Don't talk to her.
See, I didn't belong to any friend group in high school, so they all thought I belonged to every friend group. It was bizarre. I kind of like, I kind of like was seen as popular and not at the same time. It's not that I wasn't seen as popular, it's that I truly didn't have many friends.
Mm-hmm.
But I was seen as really popular
Oh, really?
because I knew everybody and I didn't hang out with anybody, but I associated with people, you know? Kind of like that same idea that I always take with different aged people. I did with the high school. You know, if someone was popular, I talked to them. If someone wasn't popular, I talked to them. I talked to everybody. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if it made sense, if there was a reason to go and talk to them, I would talk to them. I didn't kind of shun anybody or choose a clique or anything. But because I didn't choose a clique, I never had any like friends. Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have, yeah, and I had like two. I kind of did the same thing you did. I had like two friends that because I had moved a lot of schools, so I had only had one best friend when I was a little kid. He was a guy I would get on the buses with. But after that, I moved, and so when I got to high school, that was like my first time to have best friends again, because I was going to be in the high school. I was actually at the school since like eighth grade, so I was going to be there from eighth grade all the way to the end of high school. And so my first two best friends from that point were both very toxic people. One was like into drugs and weed and drinking and didn't care about his grades and didn't really have any idea what he was going to do with his life. Wanted to be like, I think he said like a construction worker or something, some sort of laborer. And then the other guy was like a pathological liar and just
Mm-hmm.
kind of would. And I was young too. Both these guys were older than me. One was 2 years older. No, one was 3 years older than me, and one was.
How old were you?
I was 13 when I made friends with them.
Mm.
And one was 3 years older than me, so he was 16. The other one was 18. So he was 5 years older than me. And because I was young for a freshman, I was 13 for a freshman, but yeah. So then I would be seen as, because eventually I didn't become friends with, like, I would cut those guys later on.
Mm-hmm.
because I could have had their friend group, right? But I
Yeah.
cut those guys because they were so bad for me. And so then I was left with no one because I hadn't really chosen a clique to join. And so everyone kind of thought I was like this popular kid, but I really didn't have like people to go and hang out with or anything on a regular basis, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I would make friends. Like, I remember this one time, or like for my senior year, I did make friends with a guy who was like that librarian kid, the Asian guy. Him and his brother. I can't remember their names. You don't know them.
I
I
don't
don't know why
know.
I'm talking to you like you know them.
I don't know who they are.
They went to the, Julia Boyer Reinstein Library?
Yeah.
They worked there for a little bit.
Yeah, I have no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. I made friends with him and he helped me with like doing this like school senior contest. He helped with that. Like he taught me piano. He helped we had a favorite teacher we both shared and we were both in his chess club, so we baked that chess cake that you saw that one time. Did that together. So like I had a moment with him. But then he turned out to be gay and wanted like more with me, and I didn't want anything with him because I never, even when he turned out to be gay, I straight up told him, "You're not gay." Because I was like, dude, how is he gay? There was nothing that came off as gay about him. I mean, in hindsight, my mom, me and her had a funny conversation where she's like pointing, because I would bring him over all the time. I didn't know anything. So she saw a lot of the gifts he would give me. But I thought that, when you like a guy, you're doing something nice for him. I didn't think it was like something more. He was not like a flamboyant gay. Like he wasn't obvious. But then afterwards, my mom's pointing out all these things he did. And she's like, Jay, you really didn't see it. He did this for you. He got this. You really didn't see it. I'm like, I don't know. I guess when you say it like that, I guess, you're right. But I didn't see it. So, but yeah, I didn't really have, for all of high school, I didn't really have too many close friends. And of course, I was too busy chasing girls and stuff. So I was having fun with that. And then that would make dramas. And because I didn't want like girls as my friends either. I either wanted to date them or have nothing to do with them.
Oh.
Yeah. And the girls that I would friend zone would be all the girls that really wanted to be with me. And I'm like, ugh, you're gross. Like, I don't want to. I don't want to be with you. But, yeah. Anyway.
I knew what I was going to say, and then I was listening to you, and I forgot what I was going to say. It was still stuff about middle school. Oh, yes. So, during my time in middle school, this is when I stopped wearing pants for the entirety of high school.
Oh, so before that you were wearing pants?
Yeah, a little bit in elementary school, I'd wear pants. This was when Mom was still around, so she would prepare clothes for me and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I thought you just never wore pants.
No, I did. And I remember in Maine, when I was wearing jeans, and I felt so uncomfortable. I was like, okay, this is the end for jeans, but this isn't the end for pants. But then it was the end for pants once high school started. No, middle school started. Yeah. There's also one time, middle school. I don't know if I was talking about high school or middle school. I was beginning to talk about high school. In middle school...
Jumping all over.
Yeah, I am. There was this contest. Every year we would do a Halloween essay contest. Trying to make a scary story and stuff. Yeah. And I was working, quote unquote, working with my friend at the time. The girl that, made me look bad.
Oh, that's where we were talking about, was the friend.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. But it was just me writing everything. I just put her on the paper because, we're friends.
Ah.
Yeah, but she didn't do anything. Yeah. But I did all the writing. I came up with everything. I was really into RPG horror.
What's that?
RPG Maker horror games, like the one I had you play, Ebe, with the paintings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like that. And I was into, Mad Father. People that are listening might know what that is. Yeah. I was really into that, so I implemented a lot of that.
Ebe got me a few times. I hated it.
You like the painting with the fish?
I hated that, man. That made me jump a couple
We didn't
times.
even finish the game.
No, we should go back.
Yeah. But yeah, I implemented a lot of horror aspects in my essay from that, tall, scary, lanky woman reaching the ceiling. I remember one thing I put in it because the essay was my friend and me having a sleepover in the living room, like we did in real life, on the air mattress. And then I remember I heard in the story I said I heard a crack, And I started to open my eyes. It was dark and I could barely see. And then I could see the smoke detector lights. I could see it. But then I saw two more lights next to it. They were red and beady. And it
Ooh.
was eyes.
Oh,
And it
that's
was like a
good.
tall, lengthy woman with a long neck, pale white skin,
Oh, that's
red
good.
eyes, smiling, black and red eyes. And it was like, ah! And the world started to crumble and you're running through the woods and stuff and scary statues and yeah.
That's good.
And that got second place.
Wow.
Yeah, the first place was the now valedictorian.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sure people know who that is. It's either Sam or Liz. I think it was Sam. I thought my story was scarier, but the whole thing about this wasn't like the ending part of like me handing in the 4-paged essay. No, it was more than that. It was more like 8-paged essay because there was a lot in there, and they didn't. They went over my essay and they made revisions because typos or whatever. But I don't know who did it, but they made the essay sound really gay because the students read it and like I don't know who edited my essay, but they made it sound like I liked the girl, and I didn't.
The scary girl?
No, my friend.
Oh.
I don't know who edited my essay. I don't know why she edited my essay. It was perfectly fine. But she made it sound really gay. Like, I didn't... Like, in the essay, she wrote that I held hands with her. I didn't. I'm still upset about that.
Clearly.
Yeah, I don't know why, but then kids were like, looking at me like, hey, like, why did you write this? Like, it wasn't me. I don't think anyone listening would remember that, though. I think Mom still has the essay. She was proud of it. She saved it. It's somewhere in that closet.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I tried again next year with making another horror essay, but I didn't really want to. I just wanted to win, but it didn't even get third place or any sort of place. I remember that one's more about a person going insane in a mental asylum, and I also added Hannah in there too.
Hannah? Is that the girl?
Oh, damn it. Yep, it is.
The name's out there.
Yeah, the name's out there now. That's okay. Alright, well now we'll fast forward. Are we done talking about middle school? Is there anything important that happened in middle school for you?
I liked the middle school dances.
Really?
Yeah. Remember? I told you that. The middle school dances were awesome.
Oh.
Because I would go dance with all sorts of girls, get flirty, have fun, then leave.
Then leave?
It was fun.
What happened when you left?
They would all give me hugs and kisses and in front of like my family like taking me to leave.
Oh.
Yeah, they would miss me when I was gone. It was nice. They'd be like waiting their turn to hug me and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
The other thing I missed about middle school was that crotchety old science teacher. I think his name was Mr. Cicero? No, Mr. Cesaro. Cesaro? It was like a Sicilian name, but it also started with an S. And he was just strange. He was a chain smoker, but that wasn't a problem. Like he didn't smoke in class, but his voice was so like raspy, and he's Italian, so picture like an Italian raspy voice. He was very entertaining to listen to, and nasally. He had a little bit of a nasally tone. And I remember when I was getting ready to switch schools because I had him for just one grade, 7th grade, and then I was leaving for 8th. And he was one of the teachers fighting for me to stay.
Oh.
He didn't want me to leave because he saw a lot of potential in me. Because he would, a lot of times, like, if I just wanted somewhere to hang out or if I was being bad, I would somehow end up in his class. And he's a science teacher. He doesn't really have anything to do with that, but I would end up in his class. And we would talk, and for some reason he took a liking to me and told my parents and told my aunt that, like, thought I was a really bright kid and thought that, you know, he thought that just because I'm not showing up doesn't mean that I'm not smart. Mm-hmm. And he thought that I was he actually told them he thought that I was a lot smarter than most of his students. And I was being bad. Like, I was a kid that was, like, not always coming, and I was getting into that rebellious phase, and he was just like, no, like, this kid's just trying. He would say at times, like, he's trying to make himself look bad. He's actually really good at his studies, but he's trying to make himself look bad, but he's not. And so he was one of those guys that kind of always stuck in my memories after I left. Because he was not a guy to give out compliments. He was not a kind guy. He was, like, witty and sharp and to the point and no bullshit. No bullshit. So when I heard that stuff from my family, and I think I had one small conversation with him that kind of related to that stuff, it was like, wow, like that was a big deal to hear that, because he was a very serious dude. I mean, if you saw his face, you just couldn't picture him smiling, because his face was always just angry. He's just always walking around with this angry Italian face, like he's always walking around like that. So, you know, it was bizarre, but he was a cool guy. I liked him. I thought he was neat, you know. So those are the two things that I liked about middle school. Yeah. I mean, the only other thing was that school really worked hard to try to get me to stay there. Like, when I left, because I know you want to move on from middle school, but I guess what I'm saying is I left schools. So when we go to the high school, I wasn't at the same school.
Yeah.
And when I left that school, I had at that point been taking hour-long bus rides, hour to hour and a half long bus rides, from the suburbs outside of Buffalo to the inner city. And I remember the one time I shit my pants because it was just not gonna happen. I forget. I think
you shit your pants?
Yeah, as a middle schooler, you don't understand. Hear me out. I accidentally ate a bowl of cereal with creamer. Because
and you ate it?
I didn't have milk, so I thought this will be fine. And I didn't drink it because it felt weird and it was already not great. But I had eaten so much that by the time I was on that bus ride, I might have been like a half hour in, and I couldn't hold it.
Why didn't you tell the bus driver to stop?
We were on the highway.
Oh.
There's nowhere to stop. Like, we were on the highway. So I accidentally shit my pants trying to hold it.
Shit.
I held it until I couldn't hold it, and then it just exploded right out of me. And suffice it to say, as soon as I got to school, I had to go deal with that. And so I walk into the office, and I just kind of tell them, I shit my pants. And first they're like, watch your language. What'd you say? And I said, I shit my pants.
Wait, did the bus driver know, or did you just walk out?
I think I just walked out.
You just walked out?
How am I supposed to tell him? That's embarrassing.
Hey, just to let you know, there's some shit back there.
Well, there wasn't. It was in my pants.
It was in your... Oh, wait, were you doing a duck walk?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I got to the building, the office building. They did have a spare pants for me, which was
good.
Great.
They usually do.
We had to throw away everything else, which we just, we threw it away or whatever. And I think I waited for my parents to come get me or something. I don't remember. I don't think I went through class the rest of that day because they were just like... I think they were more worried about my mental sanity than my physical health. I think they just didn't want me to go through class with anyone possibly saying anything. Because I just came into the office. They didn't know if anyone knew, and they just didn't want to...
Yeah.
So I think they let me go home after waiting for... I probably waited for my mom or whoever for like an hour or two. I waited for a while. Yeah. After that, I was not mad to leave. Because I love the school. I can't control when I have to shit sometimes. Sometimes you have to shit. Wait an hour and a half to take shit. Especially because I'm a breakfast guy. When you have breakfast... I go to the bathroom eventually. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to have to deal with that again. Yeah.
I remember my breakfast for school. It wasn't really a breakfast at all. Because I would, be there last minute.
Oh, be where? To school?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I wouldn't even have breakfast. I would, bring whatever I could find in the house and then have a banana or have leftovers. Dinner leftovers for breakfast just in the classroom, first period. I remember one time I brought a steak. Okay, now I'm really jumping, but this was senior year, right? First period, English class. Yeah. The teacher liked me, I think. Yeah, no, she did like me. She really did like me. This is the one where I painted the dragon on the wall. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she liked me. She was a cool teacher. Yeah, I brought a steak and asked her, hey, do you have a knife? This plastic one isn't working. And she had a fucking steak knife and a plate and a fork. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. I didn't have A1 steak sauce, but I ate my steak. My dad told me to say it was filet mignon.
Hmm?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really good class. I like that. Senior year was the best, in my opinion. For me, specifically. Yeah, so, okay, so now that we're talking about senior year, hold on, people. I'm just checking how long we were talking for. Okay. Um, did you take any interesting classes in high school? For me, it was astronomy. Ooh. Well, that was just one of them. What about you?
For high school,
Yeah, high school.
I don't remember.
Interesting class. Oh, you don't remember? Interesting classes?
I remember, okay, I do remember taking psych and sociology and being disgusted with both.
What? Disgusted.
So honestly, I think this is the beginning of the woke culture
Uh-huh.
because I remember when I took those classes, the whole time my brain's telling me, how do they consider this sociology or how do they consider this psychology? Like, I just thought it was something very different for the study.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time the study was just dull and boring and not really. Because to me, like, sociology or psychology is about understanding people, right?
Right.
It's about understanding the way they think. Those classes were all about, like, studying data. They were about studying data. Yeah, that's what they were about. They were about
Like statistics?
like group statistics, studying like other people's research. It wasn't really like
Uh,
an open-minded approach. It was like, look at these books, learn these books. This is what it is. There was like no debate. It was just, this is what you look at. This is the evidence. This is what you believe.
mm-hmm.
And it's like, how is that?
You dropped out of that class, right?
No, I just failed those classes.
Oh.
Yeah, so what happened was my first 2 years of high school, I failed every class. Every class.
Oh, really? So you went to summer school?
Nope.
What?
I don't know. But I failed every class because I wasn't there most of the time. I just physically wasn't at school. At one point, I was out of school for more than half the year. I was not there.
Why?
Because I didn't want to be there.
Oh.
And the other year, I think I was just out a lot, but not that much. But I remember the principal bringing me in to tell me, and I was like proud of myself. I was like, "Damn, how do you do that, Jason? Like, good for you being out that much." So when he told me that I was out more than half the year, but the other time it was just a lot. But so I failed all those classes because they had a curriculum thing and they explained it to me, but it didn't make much sense. But essentially, being there was part of passing. That's how they explained it to me.
Okay.
So because I wasn't there so much, and because I wasn't like a stellar student, that's why I failed all the classes.
But how did you not go to summer school?
I don't know, but I do know is that I never had study halls. For the rest, I never had a study hall. Always had all my classes packed with shit. Yeah, never had a study. And I gave up language. That also might be a reason. I gave up a language by like junior year or something.
My school told me that's required. You can't pass high school without doing stupid French or stupid Spanish.
No, they told me the same thing, but then they gave me the real reason, which was that most colleges won't let you in. Well, I said I don't care. I don't want to go to college.
Wow.
Yeah. So it really wasn't, it was a rule, but it wasn't a rule, right? Like once you got past that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, because they were also trying to figure out how I could pass in the 2 years with how many, they were trying to, so it's like, they didn't want me to quit Spanish and French, but they also didn't know how I was going to pass without giving something up. Because I needed to do that. So yeah, I graduated without a language. Yeah.
Lucky?
I don't know.
No, when my dad saw I had to take a language,
He wanted you to do Chinese, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I think I told you this.
Yeah.
So the only opening stuff for my grade was French, and my dad was like, "No, that's stupid. No one uses French. Everyone around the world, like majority of them, don't use French." So it was like, "Okay, can she do Chinese?" That was his next thing, and they said no, they don't have a Chinese program. like schools like in Williamsville where there's lots of Chinese people, they have Chinese. And then he was like, okay, can't you just go there and just take that class? And they said no. So then they moved me to a middle school class that was taking Spanish. But the Spanish room was inside the high school. So because the middle school and high school were connected by like a glass hallway. Yeah. Yeah, so I did that. But at the same time, I was taking Chinese, which I felt like was more important. I had more fun with Chinese. But I did the Spanish anyway. I was not good at it.
Well, we both completely agree that the school and education system was all a waste of time, right? Like, it was a piece of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not, I don't think anything about those studies were meaningful beyond, and this I actually get from my college philosophy professor, beyond taking math, English, and history and science. Those are the only things that I think really had any meaning long term, being able to like educate me and make me a little bit.
It depends on the person, for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're really into art.
Yeah, I took almost all the art classes.
Right, but yeah. I'm just saying, like, by and large, like, most of the time that stuff is just a waste of time and poorly done.
Yeah. It stinks because I could have done so better with Chinese if I wasn't occupied with Spanish at the same time.
Right. Like, and I think your reasoning's right. Is like it's such a more popular language, and if you're going to go to those places, like all that stuff kind of factors in.
Yeah. Can I talk about other interesting classes I took in high school?
What'd you take?
Well, you already know I took career in the arts.
You didn't take woodworking, you said.
No. I don't know if anyone listening knows or remembers the woodworking teacher in high school. But yeah, he told me that, Kaylee, I don't think it's a good idea that you take woodworking. I don't think you'll like it. You should take an art class instead. It's like, oh, you think so? Because I was kind of interested in taking woodworking. But I think all of the students that took that class were boys, and he didn't want me in there for some reason.
Can I tell you, what class I really wanted to take that I couldn't?
Why?
Broadcasting.
Why?
I don't remember. I think it had something to do with the grades.
Oh.
I think you had to have, because the class wasn't like curricular focused. It was like, about the experience and like doing
for fun.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was still a class. It was still something
Yeah,
you did.
no, our school had that too. Yeah.
So I wasn't allowed to take broadcasting, which was pretty much a bummer, because I was thinking about acting stuff even back then. So.
You know that same teacher also did that too? That said I couldn't do woodworking. He also ran that.
He ran the broadcasting.
Yeah.
Thing.
What was it called? Depew News Cat Chronicle. I forgot. But
Were you
every
hearing
morning
the kids speaking on the announcements and shit.
They did do that before, and then they went to every teacher in the building would turn on their smartboard and play a news video of students, and it'd be like news, like what's going on in the day. Yeah.
My guys did they had their own TV show.
I mean, it was like the news. I mean, they had because I was dating a boy at the time who did that, and he would speak. People would take turns, every day there'd be somebody new, but it'd be the same people, speaking about the news. There'd be two people. And I was the one, I did it only once, and I hated it. I was the one who would do the teleprompter, the thing with the words on the screen where they had to read it. Mm-hmm. And I was not good at it. He said, oh, go ahead, try it. It's easy. I'm like, okay. Then I started doing it, and the words went really fast. I'm like, okay, the space bar is to pause it. And they would, pause too late, and then they'd be like, oh, fuck. And then, so they had to read really, really, really fast. And then they told me, okay, stop. It's good. You can stop now. And they had the teacher just do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the next morning, I saw my name on the credits. Mm-hmm. Oh, thanks, guys. I did really shit, though. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was that.
Remember this one project I did for a girl? It was for a really important class, and I just made it all about this girl. There was this strange class I was taking. I can't quite remember the name. Something of the government. It was a really bizarre class. It was a senior or a junior level class, something of the government. PIG? PIG? Do you remember a PIG?
Pig?
I think that was the acronym.
I've never-
Participation in government. That was the class. Something participation in government, and they called it PIG for short. Man, was it a weird class. I spent most of the time trying to figure out what I was supposed to do in that class. But at one point we had this project, and the project was very open with the results. All they wanted you to do was find a way to like get people involved on the school ground.
Okay.
And so I like didn't know what the fuck to do, and I was really into this girl at the time, and so I came up with a clever idea. And the whole premise of the idea was, well, I'll tell you what I did first, and I'll tell you what the premise was.
Yeah.
So I come to school, and I've cut out these little spiders, these little like paper cute spiders. Big brain. I had a big whiteboard. I had my lunch quick, or maybe I got permission, but I don't know. I was there during a lunch break, lunch period, and I'm standing in this area with some of my friends because I would have people come stand with me and stuff. And I've got a notebook so that way they could sign once they've done it. But I have one of my friends holding like a piece of tape and scissors, and another one handing out these spiders, and then I've got a notebook for people to sign. I've got this giant white poster. And the poster says Web of Hope. Mm. And I think I might have had stuff written on the poster, but I can't quite remember. But I remember the premise of it was if you wanted to share hope into the world, you would take a spider and put it onto the web to spread the hope, spread the web. And so then I would get all these signatures, and I think by the end of it I had like 70 something or 50 something signatures.
Okay.
And I presented it to the class, and I think the teacher liked it, but she also didn't know what I was supposed to do. I didn't know what I was supposed to do.
Yeah, what's the hope? Where's the hope going?
No idea. But it went to the board, you know what I mean? But the girl's name was Hope that I liked. That's why I called the project that, Web of Hope. It was like a play on words. So, yeah. I was very proud of myself for that. I got all these people to like engage with it and talk about it. Yeah.
Well, that's silly.
Yeah.
Do you remember any other classes you took?
No, none that were meaningful. I was getting pretty... It was funny because I was getting good. So, like, I failed my first 2 years, but I basically aced my last 2.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I was getting good at school and studying, and I was getting better at, like, just how to do it and stuff. I still sucked at math. I sucked at math all the way until I took statistics. And that was in college. That was the first time I ever got an A in math.
Really? I've always sucked at math.
Yeah, otherwise I'd get C's or fail. Like, I just didn't do good in math. But the statistics went really well, and I got a good grade for that. But I just remember passing all my classes and being kind of surprised. So.
Ever been on the honor roll?
No, I was bottom. There was like 230 kids. I was near the bottom, 229 or some shit. Or there was like 200. I think there was 236 kids, and I was like 230 or 232 out of all of them. As far as my scores. Yep.
I didn't know how far bottom or top I was. I was probably like bottom for like the first 3 years of high school. And then I was pretty close to the damn top in senior year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, we're almost done.
I think we're almost done. I think it's been an hour. Hey guys, how about that? It's been an hour. Okay.
Done.
All right. He's done talking. Thank you all for listening to Double Trouble Podcast. We will talk to you all in the next episode. Once again, if you have any questions for us, send me a message. I am open to answering any question you people have about anything. Literally anything. Okay? We'll talk to you guys next time. Bye! Say goodbye.